If your best friend has stolen your girlfriend, it does become life and death. That hunger of the flesh, that longing for ease, that terror of incarceration, that insistence on tribal honor being obeyed, all of that exists, and it exists everywhere. I always try to find something I admire about every character I play. One of the greatest things drama can do, at its best, is to redefine the words we use every day, such as love, home, family, loyalty, and envy. Tragedy need not be a downer. With narration, you have to be very accurate with your voice. It's a good exercise to do. I just loved playing a man who was unafraid of making an idiot of himself in the process of falling in love. I found that admirable. There was one titanic guiding light on the film set, and I was in the presence of a true Mahatma, in the deepest and most profound sense of the word. As an actor, there's no autonomy, unless you're prepared to risk the possibility of starving. Hamlet is an astonishing intelligence. I'm convinced that had I not changed my name, I don't think I would have had quite the same career curve that I eventually had. I have never felt bereft of anything. I think that all of us either lose touch with the child inside us or try and hold on to it because it's so precious to us and it's such an extraordinary part of our lives. In England, it's now Sir Ben. Mr. has just disappeared. It's not even on my passport anymore. They've taken Mr. away from me. There have not been any troughs as regards my work. There's never been a trough of my assurance. I think the cinema you like has more to do with silence, and the theater you like has more to do with language. There is so much to do on a film set. It is an extraordinarily invigorating and wonderful place to be, when things are running well. 15 years before I became a screen actor, I was in the theater. A lot of my work was comedy, which I loved doing. It's harder. I think that you can fall into bad habits with comedy. It's a tightrope to stay true to the character, true to the irony, and allow the irony to happen. But filming is good for you, because the crew isn't allowed to laugh. You can't get addicted to getting the laugh. There's so much crap talked about acting. Somewhere in your career, your work changes. It becomes less anal, less careful, and more spontaneous, more to do with the information that your soul carries. I was fortunate as a young actor to go straight to the RSC, where I learned that being an actor can bring with it wonderful responsibilities. As a singer, I might have fallen among thieves. I wonder if I'd still be alive by now. I don't honestly think people know what acting is. If I were to play somebody who ran a fish and chip shop, I would not work in a fish and chip shop for 3 months. Staring at chips is not going to help me in my performance. I think that most actors, and there are very strange lot actors, very strange people, but I think that they attempt to keep in touch with the child. But comedy I'd love to do as much as humanly possible. The hierarchy of class in London was rigid. It was like a religion. It still is to a certain extent. The camera does not like acting. The camera is only interested in filming behavior. So you damn well learn your lines until you know them inside out, while standing on your head. When you drop your guard in films, the acting process compensates. You get lazy and you start acting. It is better for me to serve a charity as an actor or a voice, rather than at a luncheon being just a celebrity. When I choose a role, it's either because I recognize the man, or that I'm very curious to know him. If I neither recognize nor know him, then it is better that I don't play him. I've never had to turn my hand to anything for monetary gain, other than pretending to be somebody else. I'm deeply fortunate. I'm very in love with the fact that the camera is revolted by acting and loves behavior. I think if I were to go back on stage, I might be in great danger of acting. I would like to make it known, on this program, loud and clear, that I would absolutely embrace with all 5 of my arms being a Bond villain. The trick is to try and justify every word on the page and make sure my character is the man who would say that. I do remember, as a child, that I always imagined, when I was maybe 6 or 7, my fantasy was that everywhere I went I was being followed by an invisible film crew. I try and reduce myself to an almost blank slate and hope to God that I am creative. All the great writers root their characters in true human behavior. The many imponderables come together when a film opens, and for all sorts of reasons it may or may not succeed. I have a rather naive approach, I think, to my job. I think I'm more bonded, emotionally and in a craft sense, to films that tell extraordinary stories about extraordinary destinies. In cinema, the leading player is the director. Hopefully, as I get older in the business, I make my choices more accurately, and I perhaps know from either the script or the first meeting that it isn't going to work. Filming is so much to do with rhythm, as is music. And if it isn't there, then you know in the end nobody can save it really. They can't. I honestly have no strategy whatsoever. I'm waiting for that script to pop through the letterbox and completely surprise me. I think that various styles and methods and approaches are an invention of people who don't understand the process of acting and who try very hard to label things. Well, it's wonderful to be identified strongly with my work. When Attenborough asked me to do Gandhi, it was almost like stepping off one boat and stepping onto another, even though both boats are going at 60 miles per hour. I think Romeo and Juliet is uplifting. That's how much a son wishes to avenge his father. That is how much 2 young people can love each other. Movie magic is movie magic, and acting magic is acting magic. John Lennon and Ringo Starr liked my songs. I used to write songs, and they heard me sing songs on stage in London.